Put your money in TACC, put your money in TACC. Invest and show that your money come back. Put your money in TACC, put your money in TACC. Invest and show that your money come back. Everybody say, one child, one youth, one TACC. One child, one youth, one TACC. TACC, 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 TACC. Become financially free. Join the abundance community, diaspora city. Yeah, we got global accessibility. Your future, your currency. Everybody say, one child, one youth, one TACC. One child, one youth, one TACC. TACC, 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 TACC. Become financially free. Join the abundance community, diaspora city. Contact our website or social media for more info. Everybody say, one child, one youth, one TACC. One child, one youth, one TACC. TACC, 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 TACC.
Hello, hello, hello. I'd like to welcome all of you to this important training. Well, all the trainings are important. So this is no less important, but it is really important that you're all here to learn more about TACC. A special welcome to all the newly appointed leaders, as well as any new TACCian who are joining us. Thank you. You are in the greatest community. There is no other coin like TACC. You are in the right place and you are there at the right time. So welcome. We are going to hop right into our panel discussion. So I think since I have been director of training, this is the first time we have had a panel discussion. And it is going to be great because we have some really great panelists, very knowledgeable, who are here to share knowledge with all of you. So our panel discussion, the topic is unlocking potential, TACC's role in the evolving crypto landscape. So as I mentioned earlier, you will be learning more about TACC, its journey, what is happening now, and the future. So as I said, if you do not have paper and pencil, you need to get that so that you can start jotting down some notes. And especially if you have any questions based on what has been answered, you may want to jot that down too. Our panelists, let me just call them out. They are not in any particular order. So Mr. Otium Ondo is the Chief of Staff and Global Youth Ambassador. And I hope I pronounced your last name correctly, Mr. Otium.
Yes, Delia, you did that correctly. I see you are from my tribe now.
Thank you. Mr. Joel Carr, he's the Executive Director for the Caribbean, North and Central America, and he is also the Assistant Director of Training, Human Resource Development and Communication. Welcome, Mr. Carr. Third, we have Mr. Francis Yao Lemotsi. Did I pronounce that correctly, Mr. Francis?
Perfectly pronounced.
Oh, wonderful. And Mr. Francis is the National Executive Coordinator for Ghana. Mr. Francis, thank you. Welcome, and thank you for saying yes to being on this panel. Then we have Mr. Ahidor Kosi Dagbaniva, also known as Johnny the Bank. Now, you need to tell me, Mr. Johnny the Bank, whether I pronounced your name correctly. Did I?
Yes, you actually did well. Someone will say you are from a French-speaking country. You did very well, man.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. Well, St. Lucia does have some French influence, so maybe that's why. And so Mr. Johnny the Bank is the Executive Director of the French countries. And our fifth panelist is Mr. Aki Jackson. And Mr. Aki Jackson is the National Executive Coordinator for the USA. Panelists, thank you so much for saying yes to doing this. And I am the moderator of this panel discussion, and I am Dr. Delia Samuel. I am the Director of Training, Human Resource Development, and Communication. Thank you all. And so let us begin. We have quite a few questions. We are just going to go through the questions as I ask the panelists the questions. And again, Tiashans, if you have any questions, let's not interrupt the panelists. I would ask you to write down those questions, and at the end of the panel discussion, the floor will open for your own questions. Okay, so let's begin. The first question is for our esteemed Chief of Staff. And the question is, briefly share the story of TACC as a cryptocurrency, covering its inception, that is when it began, the year it began. Speak about the creator of TACC. Speak about the presence of TACC on exchanges. What exchanges were we on? And now you also want to speak about the journey of TACC to its current state. So that's a lot, Chief of Staff, over to you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Delia. It's a pleasure again to serve. I want to first of all thank Chief Abundance again for standing in the gap. He's our teacher, and he's teaching us and he's leading by example. So I want to thank him, and I'm grateful for somebody like him. And I also want to thank Tiashans for their consistency in this training. I want to thank all the leaders for their effort, and I welcome you all to today's section. So, first, starting with TACC. The founding of TACC came into full effect on the 4th of November 2019. So we initially we belonged to this community called TBC, and the admin happens to be a white man. Though we used to have meetings with him, but we've never seen his face. We don't even know how he looks like. So along the line, we asked why we were unable to see his face. But then he said he's trying to create something very big like TBC, and he won't like to show his face, just like Satoshi Nakamoto. But then I asked the question in the meeting. I said, if somebody like Zuckerberg is building something like Facebook and his face is shown, why is it that the founder of TBC is not showing his face? But then I was not that a strong voice, but I just happened to be this person that was objecting as to why the TBC admin will not show his face. So along the line, we started having some issues in TBC, and then appears Chief Abundance, who happens to be a Tibetian. That is the term we used to refer to ourselves back in those days, Tibetians. So, and Chief started kicking against some of the policies of TBC admin, and then after a while, Chief was kicked out of the community. But something happened because the TBC admin had leaders that were so close to him. He called us for a meeting, and he displayed the pictures of Chief Abundance, and he asked all the leaders there present that who knows this man and what can they say about this man. And everybody started saying things, negative things, and everything, all this and that. So in the entire meeting, I was the only person that stood, even without knowing Chief Abundance very well, I was the only person that defended Chief Abundance. I said, for me, this man's intention is not, his intentions are pure, and I don't see anything wrong in what he has done. You know, of course, I was punished for that. Some things were wrong with my account. So, and then when we got to understand that this man was out to scam us, you know, already back then, Chief already was doing audios, and he said, okay, since we have now realized that this man is trying to scam us, let us create something that we know we are the ones that have created it. So that, because we are all victims of scam. So why can't we just say enough is enough, instead of depending on another person to create a platform for us, and at the end of the day, it end up being a scam. Let us create something that we will control, and we know that we are the ones that created it, and it's like a miracle. We have never seen each other facially. I mean, the level of trust that happened at the inception of TACC is something that cannot be explained. And should I say, it was an idea that its time has come. We came across continents. We've never met each other face to face. It was just on WhatsApp that we met each other. And we started like play. We started doing fundraising. Then on the 4th of November, the idea was discussed, and we started pioneers. Pioneers were registered, and we started gathering funds to build what we have today. So along the line, on the 1st of June, 2021, TACC went live on the exchange. But before, they will really have some challenges because we are called names. With some people wrote articles against us, calling us scams. You know, we have some restriction in Liberia with the central bank governor. We have some things that a lot of things. So at some point, people said we don't have a coin, but then I mean, personally, and this is why we must understand that when somebody can have great influence in your life, but there's some time that that person can be wrong. I have this my brother of mine who has great influence in my life. He taught me a lot of things, and he's somebody who, when he says something, we make sure we listen to him because he's like our guide. But when he saw me promoting TACC, he laughed at me. He said, "This thing is a scam." But then I said, "No, for the first time in your life, big brother, you are wrong." So the attacks happen on a personal level, and it also happened on the community level. So it was like we had challenges, but at the end of the day, we were able to overcome those challenges, and we launched our exchange, our coin on the 1st of June, and our all-time high happens to be $33. You know, so now that is the bet of TACC. Happen to talk about Chief Abundance, the creator of TACC. I happened to meet Chief Abundance on the WhatsApp group, and before then, this brother of mine that I've just spoken to you about, that we look up to him for guidance. So usually there's this, sometimes he will buy these books and bring it in the house. When I was still in secondary school, he will buy these books and bring them in the house. And on these books, I will see people like Thomas Sankara. I will see people like Martin Luther King Jr. I will see people that. So I was just seeing some people. I was curious. I was like, who are these people? Something just within me, I feel drawn to them. I just feel these people, I deserve to know more about these people. I don't know why. Something just within me said you need to know about these people. So again, I started reading about them. I saw, okay, these people fought for the emancipation of Black people in America. This one fought for the independence of Ghana. This one fought for the independence of Burkina Faso, Congo. So I started reading about them, and I liked the idea. And as I started to read about them and like the idea, I began to share this idea within my friends. And my friends showed no interest. In fact, for them, I was like speaking French because what am I trying to share with them here? So it didn't just make sense to them. So I just kept the entire thing to myself. There's nobody I could talk to around about these people, so that we can just exchange ideas. So after secondary school, went to the university again. I happened to meet other people that who also know about some of these people, but their flow wasn't forthcoming. Like I couldn't flow with them properly. They are not interested in what they know about these people, but they're not interested in what these people did. It was after my university and after my NYC that when we came and met on a WhatsApp group with Chief Abundance, and when Chief Abundance made an audio, he said he came to Africa, and his first country of visit was Cameroon. And when he saw the level of poverty in that country, he said to himself, he will never leave this continent the way he found it. And me myself happened to read about people that fought for the betterment of African continent, for the betterment of the Black race. Immediately, Chief Abundance was saying those things. I was like, this is what I want. Like, this is so. And Chief didn't stop there. He said he's going to create a WhatsApp group, and he will train the next generation of leaders that will take leadership position in Africa. I think I should be the first person that reached out to him and I told him I'm interested in what he wants to do. I want to be that person that he will train to take over the affairs of Africa. Because for me, after my NYC, I was now like thrown into the world, like let me start doing something. But I didn't find this connection. For me, I really know that deep within me, I know I wanted to do something, but I never knew what I wanted to do. So I wrote down 3 things that I wanted to do. I said, 1, I want to become an army officer. And 2, I want to become a lecturer in the university. And the 3rd thing that I wrote that I want to become, I said, I don't know what I want to become in this 3rd place, but the universe will just connect me with anybody that I can make a difference this last thing had no name. Unlike the two that had military ambition and lecturer, being a lecturer in university, this last option now had no name attached to it. And I said, the universe is dreaming with somebody that I can work together with and I can make a difference. And when Chief Abundance made those audios, my mind, I said, this is the answered prayer. This is the answered prayer. And in the Chief Abundance voice, I heard about those people I was reading years ago. I heard the voice of Martin Luther King. I heard the voice of Patrice Lumumba. I heard the voice of Thomas Sankara. I said, no, I didn't have the opportunity to meet these people while they were there, while they were alive. Now that I've met somebody like this, I'll be a fool not to listen to them. And when Chief Abundance came into TBC again, the initiative he took in order for him to really push TBC, because make no mistake about it, the vision of TBC is very noble. You know, they have a very good vision, a very good mission too, but the man was not just doing the right things, you know. But then Chief took a different approach in his presentation as to what TBC should be, and what he did was he started training us to see things differently. He dealt with personal development. You know, I listened to Chief Abundance voice note in my room, locked in the room, for almost 20 to 30 days. Every day I listened to those voice notes. And immediately after I was done with NYC, I called my younger brother. I said, something within me has changed. He said, really? I said, yes. I said, something within me has changed. I don't know what, but something within me has changed. So that is how I came to meet Chief Abundance. And I never made it today. I've never made that. I didn't regret meeting somebody like him. So this is somebody that, for me, he has his approach to life is always different, and it's the same thing with me. And even though I might not be conscious of these things, sometimes I do things differently even without knowing. And so when I meet somebody like this, I say, this is an advanced version of me. Okay, you want to say something?
Yes, if you can just wrap up, Chief of Staff, so we can go on to the second question.
Okay, all right. So now we are we've spoken about the funding of TACC, the creator. What's the next one?
What exchanges we were on, then that's it, and then we'll move on to the second one.
Yes, the exchanges, we are on 3 exchanges. Biotic exchange, we traded on Gravius exchange, and we traded on Crest 24 exchange. But due to some regulation, these exchanges happen to be to have challenges. So we have to move to our own exchange now, which we are currently building.
Okay.
The next one.
I think that's it. That's it, Chief of Staff. Thank you so much. So that's number 1. Number 2 is a question for Mr. Francis. Mr. Francis, TACC is something that has never been done before. And with this venture, I'm sure there have been challenges, hurdles, mountains to climb along the way. Can you briefly, and I know there may be quite a few, but if you can do that in 3 minutes or less, can you briefly discuss the challenges TACC has encountered and how they were overcome?
Yes, thank you very much, Doc. And once again, good evening from my end to everybody here. Well appreciated. I appreciate the Chief of Staff for laying the foundation for our discussion this evening. And it's an opportunity for us to do some kind of retrospection, look back and see what we have done. So yes, I will look at the question in 2 ways. The question you asked, challenges and the word challenge itself. Yes, TACC came to existence as Chief of Staff mentioned. We left a community where we realized that things were not going on very well. So we decided to ask ourselves question, what do we do next? So a question was asked in the forum. Chief Abundance, Mr. Steve William, those days, if you don't like what the TBC admin is doing, create your own coin. That was the question asked by one of the the members at that time. So that was a challenge thrown to the current the CEO and the founder of the coin, TACC. And we realized that the chief of staff mentioned that it was a surprise to all of us that we came together without seeing one another. And finally, we decided that that challenge is something that we can do. So, led by the CEO, we started something like that. We raised the soft cap, and we came on the first exchange. The first challenge or obstacle that I will say after that challenge was thrown to us was when the issue of COVID-19. During that period, we all know what happened during that time. There were a lot of lockdown. People lost their jobs. People that have, food to eat. And I remember those of us who are workers at that time, we were asked not to go out, not to go to work and the rest. So the question is, how do we get money, or how do people get money to buy the coin, or for us to raise the soft cap? It was a challenge. Many were doubting it. And there were areas, times that people were not believing that we'll be able to raise the soft cap. But at the end of it, we were able to raise it as a result of the fact that we were believing in ourselves. We said we can do it. We were full of can-do spirit as a result of the audio messages, encouraging words that we've been receiving from our CEO at that time. Then when we launched on the exchange, the chief of staff mentioned that our high time was $33. Right after that, we saw a lot of people dumping their coins. A lot of people selling the coins at ridiculous prices. That sometimes when you go to the exchange, you look at the whole thing, you realize that no, these people, you ask yourself, are these people really businessmen and women who will buy coin at a price higher than what they were selling it at that time? So it was, we asked ourselves questions. And at that time too, the exchange on which we were, the support system broke down completely. I remember some TACCians asked me, reported to me some challenges that they were facing. I wrote to support system about 2 or 3 times, no response from them. Even sometimes to the trading, the transaction fees were increased abnormally. So the decision that we leave that exchange and create our own one was the best decision taken by the CEO at the time. So, Director, we can talk about a lot of challenges that we face, but these are the main ones that we can talk about. The Chief of Staff mentioned the enemies, some people saying that we did not have coins, some restriction in Liberia and the rest. Some even, you can read some articles written by some people concerning TACC and the rest. So we have a lot of challenges, and we're able to surmount those challenges. And today we can just raise our heads and say we have done it. Thank you very much, Director.
Well said. Thank you, Mr. Francis. I just want to ask a follow-up question, especially for the newbies in the house. Just briefly, you mentioned about raising the soft cap. That's a soft capital. Could you let us know how much the soft capital was? Do you have an estimate of how much it was at that time?
Yes, at that time we were able to raise $2.5 million, I believe, and we started with 25 cents. That was the beginning. And when you pay, I think I remember the minimum that we paid was $20. Where you were giving 200 coins for paying $20. Then we moved to 50 cents, then to 75 cents, and we launched on the exchange at $1.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Francis. The third question, is Mr. Aki in the house by any chance? Okay. Lizzie or whatever, Chuchua, could you turn off that video, please? Thank you. The third question, Mr. Carr, could you answer this one for us? And very briefly, can you state and explain the mission of TACC?
Yes, good afternoon, Director, and good afternoon to the House again. Yes, the mission of TACC is to become the alternate financial solution to settle Afro-Caribbean debt globally and to create financial stability for all people who have been handed generational lack, scarcity, poverty, and man-made diseases by design. Now, we always hear the quote, if you do not fight, you never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. That's Buckminster Fuller. Now, TAC is intention. We know the present system of trickle-down economics does not work because we woke up to the news that one man, Elon Musk, is worth more than 150 nations. And so we know there's a problem with distribution of wealth. And so we have decided that we are going to leverage blockchain technology and all that comes with it to create an alternate system that is going to give a more even, equal distribution of wealth. And the reality is, scarcity is something that is created, right? There is really no lack. There's issue with distribution. And so we are saying in the abundance community coin that we are creating an alternate financial solution that will make the present system obsolete. And we're just inviting everybody to be a part of this process because scarcity is something that is created and it doesn't really exist.
Well said. Thank you, Mr. Carr. Mr. Johnny DeBank, the fourth question is for you. Can you briefly state and explain the vision of TACC?
Okay, thank you, Doctor. Once again, I would like to start by greeting everyone present here, everyone in attendance. It is indeed a good time to be alive. Without further ado, our vision or the vision of TACC is stated thus: to eradicate poverty, to address inequality, establish a united nation of Africa, and open economic channel from Africa to the diaspora. And so, like we all know, poverty is a global threat, and it is the greatest enemy to mankind. You know, Chief Abundance will always say that poverty sleeps with you, it wakes up with you, it goes to church with you, and virtually it does everything with you. And so you discover that poverty is our biggest threat, is our biggest enemy. But then the abundance community coin is a revolutionary tool designed to eliminate poverty and to bridge the economic divide, and also to foster equality across communities, because like we all know, we are faced with inequality in our daily lives, in every day-to-day activities as a people of color, as Black people. And so the Abundance community, Coin, has offered us, has given us this platform, okay? And so our vision seeks to unite African nations, okay? What the likes of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah have started, what the likes of Thomas Sankara have started, this is what TACC is set out to accomplish. This is what TACC is set out to achieve. And so it is a good one for us at this point in time. Also, the Abundance Community Coin is a tool creating a powerful, interconnected continent driven by shared prosperity. Okay, and so beyond Africa, the coin or TAC establishes vital economic links with the diaspora. Okay, this is to enable collaboration, to enable trade, to enable investment on a global scale. And so this vision is about building a future where Africa stands strong, unified, and economically vibrant to provide opportunities for everyone of the people involved. And so the mission of TAC is a good one, is very broad. So we need to think about it, read it every day, meditate upon it, ponder upon it, and so it shall become part of our life, because we have, this is like what Chief we always say, this is the last go around. And so the vision of TAC is to eradicate poverty. So this is the time for us as Black people to emerge and to position ourselves. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Johnny the Bank. We'll go back to you, Mr. Carr. So we know that cryptocurrency operates on three systems. It could be proof of authority, proof of stake, proof of work. Now, TAC utilizes a proof of authority system. Now, I wanted to briefly explain that blockchain technology. I know that is just, that will take maybe an hour. That's a training in itself. But can you briefly tell us about it and its benefits compared to the proof of work and the proof of stake systems, please?
Yes, Director. No, yes. So the proof of authority, the proof of stake, and the proof of work are three consensus algorithms that are used to confirm transactions on blockchain networks. Now, the proof of work was the original block consensus. Bitcoin, the first cryptocurrency, used it. The primary use case is computational power, or your ability to produce computer power that will solve mathematical problems, so that you can then now gain the right to add the next block to the blockchain. And so that was the first consensus, proof of work. That had its own issues, such as a concern about environmental issues with generation of power. Then there was the proof of staking, or proof of stake consensus. This is the one that TAC actually used while we were on Byrake and these other exchanges. This consensus is where you stake the amount of coins that you have. And so based on the amount of coins you had, it showed your commitment to the network, and you also earned the right to add the next block to the blockchain. So that's proof of stake. TAC now uses the proof of authority. So that is what is going to be the consensus when we launch the TAC exchange. This is based on predefined rules. It's based on validating who are going to be the authorities who are going to validate transactions on the network. And so an individual that is going to be staking not their computational power, not the amount of coins they have, but rather their reputation. And so that is what is going to be the consensus that TACC is going to use. Proof of authority, you're going to be pre-validated, and everyone is going to know who the person is, as opposed to proof of work and proof of stake, where you can be anonymous. Because once you have the computational power and once you have the amount of coins, you can participate in validating transactions. But in proof of authority, you're going to be known, and everyone is going to know who you are. You're going to be validated. So that is the major difference between the three.
That's wonderfully explained, Mr. Carr. Thank you. Okay, so let's continue. We have quite a few more questions and we are going really, really well. I hope you all are taking notes, Tiashans. So panelists, please, let's try to stick within the 3 minutes. Let's stay within the 3 minutes so that we can get through all the questions. Number 6 is for you, Chief of Staff. So we all know that a greater than Bitcoin is here. What sets TACC apart from other cryptocurrencies?
Thank you very much, Dr. Delia. Well, first of all, I want to establish the fact that Theacians or people that are in TACC community have this habit of comparing TACC to this crypto. It happened in 2021 when I received a lot of messages that this crypto launched here and is doing more well than TACC. This crypto launched here and they are doing more well than TACC. So people have the habit of comparison, comparing this to that. So I said, okay, no problem. Let me start participating in what other cryptocurrencies do and see what they are doing, and then I will place it. I will do a benchmark comparative analysis to see what is it that TACC is trying to do and what is it that these cryptocurrencies are doing. And I begin to get involved in them. I play with them. To be honest, it turned out to be that most of these cryptocurrencies are Ponzi schemes. To be honest, it might sound funny, but to be honest, most of what I see in the cryptocurrency space right now, aside Bitcoin, Ethereum that have some few use cases, most of them are Ponzi schemes, like robbing Peter to pay Paul, dumping, rug pulls, and all these things. So I study these things, and most of the people that do this comparison, I happen to be even more knowledgeable than them, because when Zuga coin came out and they were like, okay, Zuga coin came out before TACC and is at $20,000. I went to research about it. It's like the TBC that we left. And guess what? A lot of Tiashans were in this community. So to be honest, after all I studied in the cryptocurrency space, I came to realize that there is no cryptocurrency there is no crypto that can be comparable to TACC. This now points us back to what Chief Abundance said to us when we were starting this journey. He said, along the line, the elite will create cryptocurrencies that will distract people from really benefiting from the cryptocurrency space. And it is happening right, because it is happening now. He said, these people will create cryptocurrencies that will even steal people's money. And in the process, it will distract a lot of people from actually benefiting from this space, and they will still dominate this space. And it is happening right now. So coming to that issue now, TACC, Bitcoin happens to be the father of all cryptocurrency because it was first. TACC, in a sense, is like a different, a new paradigm shift entirely. The same way Bitcoin is entirely a new paradigm, it is the same way TACC is also a different paradigm entirely. And I did this mathematical because, of course, I'm into spirituality and I deal with numerology. I happened to read as to when Bitcoin gave birth. Bitcoin gave birth one of the most toughest times in history. It was 2008 where the economic crisis happened. And in the Genesis block, Satoshi made mention of why he created Bitcoin. I think to the vice, he said it to the vice chancellor, something. I forgot the particular phrase, but he named the vice chancellor of his particular central bank, and he said this is the reason why he's creating Bitcoin. And I checked the date of birth of Bitcoin, and I summarized it. I saw that Bitcoin is 9. I said, wow. And I came to TACC now. I read about TACC, and I also compiled the attribute of TACC and the numbers. I saw that TACC is also number 9, the same. And TACC was given birth to one of the most toughest times in history, which happens to be COVID. So it really is, it's like Bitcoin is like a different paradigm entirely. Bitcoin came to show people that, look, there's a new system here. Satoshi wanted to create a new system that will take money out of the hands of the elite and put it in the hands of the people. So TACC now comes to say, okay, as a new paradigm, we are here to create what the world has never seen. We are here to fulfill prophecy, because our ancestors that have lived and have tried to create economic blueprint for us, they have said this over and over again. They said why they would die in this body, their ideas will live, and their children and posterity we stand up and take on this fight. We stand up and take up this fight. And it is what is happening here. So, hello.
Yes, there's somebody, I'm not seeing the person. Please mute your microphone.
So, so coming to TACC now, it's like we are fulfilling prophecy, the prophecies of Marcus Garvey. This is what, and again, I want to reiterate the fact that I'm nowhere near a racist. I believe that human beings are good and human beings are bad, regardless of race. I believe in the goodness of humanity in general. But TACC happens to be so unique in the sense that we are the only race on earth that cannot point to what we have done. And a study was done. Please. A study was done.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
A study was done, and these 3 children were asked. The first child was an American, and he was asked. He said, and the gentleman asked him, "What is it that your ancestors have done? And you can probably go into any country, and respect will be given unto you." And the American child said, as his ancestors have tried to have built a country that has to do with freedom, abundance. In America, the American dream, you can be anything you want to be. And he outlined. He said, "What is it that your ancestors have done that that affect the entire world, and that a human will not go a day without using any of those things?" And they mentioned electricity, they mentioned cars, a lot of inventions that came out of America. They asked the Japanese kid, "What is it that your ancestors have done that affect everyday life of people across the world?" And the guy said his ancestors built cars, Toyota, Honda, all this. And they asked the black child, "What is it that your ancestors have done that affect the entire world on a daily basis, that will make the world give you the respect that you deserve?" And the black child was unable to say nothing. So these are the things that TACC set out to address. And these are some of the things that, for me, TACC is unique, because we need to lay the foundation for our own children. We need to create a path so that those who shall come after us shall be proud that this is what their ancestors have done. We are a blessing, and we are the ones that are coming the of our people. And we must understand that this is what we must do, and nobody is going to do it for us. So this is, for me, this is what makes TACC unique and different from all cryptocurrencies. It's not just about creating wealth. The wealth will come. It's about making a difference. It's about being a catalyst for positive change. Thank you.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. Thank you, Chief of Staff. So, Mr. Carr, could you just very briefly, speak about what specific features of TACC make it secure and scalable? And by scalable, scalable means when we refer to a blockchain network's ability to handle an increasing number of users and transactions, and how they can do it efficiently. So what specific features of TACC make our coin secure and scalable?
Yes, thank you, Director, for that question. Now, very quickly, if you recap, you remember I said when I was giving the distinction between the consensuses that proof of work You simply have to have the computational power and you can validate transactions. You can remain anonymous and do validations. Equally, proof of stake, once you have sufficient coins, you can remain anonymous and participate in validating transactions. However, with proof of authority, you have to be validated, you have to be predefined, and you have to be an authorized validator. So your identity will be validated before you become a validator. That helps to provide the security that is needed on the blockchain, because you will be staking your reputation, you would be known, and so it would not be a case where you're operating anonymously. In terms of scalability, equally, because you do not have the limitations of, because right now, in order to participate effectively in adding blocks to the Bitcoin network, for example, you basically have to compete with companies that have created data farms to mine Bitcoins. And so, as an individual, if you do not have that that capacity to compete, you will never solve that computational situation to be able to add to the blockchain. And so, you're also limited with proof of stake in that if you don't have the amount of coins, you likewise would not be able to gain the right to add to the next block. However, proof of authority, it is your reputation that you're staking. So that scalability allows for more persons to become validators. So as the network grows and as you increase in terms of the demand for transactional processing and etc., you are going to also have the sufficient validators that will keep the system efficient as we continue to grow. And that is going to be very big for us. As we continue to expand, we will continue to be able to have more validators, because you'll be staking your reputation and you will not be limited by resources or the amount of coins you have. And so that will solve both the security issue as well as the scalability issue. So that is the benefit of the proof of authority TACC is using. Thank you.
Great job, Mr. Carr. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. So we're about halfway through. Panelists, let's try to do about 2 minutes per question, no more than that, so that we can get through the questions and finish this panel discussion in time. Mr. Johnny the Bank, we're looking at the philosophy of TACC. Can you state the philosophy and can you briefly explain it? Is Mr. Johnny the Bank? Are you in the house?
Yes, I'm right here. Thank you. Thank you, Doctor. Okay, so I was saying that the philosophy of TACC says, together we can. Together we can. And so there is this saying that united we stand, divided we fall. And so I want to believe that this is the basic principle of any organization, okay? Because except we come together, we will perish as a fool, okay? So together we can. This embodies the philosophy that unity and collaboration are the foundation of success. So this is a reminder that no matter how ambitious the goal or how challenging the task, when we work together as a people, as a community, when we work together, pulling our strength and our resources together, and our ideas, then we can create opportunities that are greater than what any one of us could achieve alone. Okay? So this philosophy emphasizes that collective effort fosters innovation, inspires resilience, and build a sense of shared responsibility. And so this is about breaking barriers. It is about lifting each other up. It is about moving forward as a united force. So together we can. We reaffirm that progress is not just an individual pursuit, but it is a communal journey, and our combined potential knows no limit. And I want to state here that if countries are coming together, okay, to form a union, for instance, we have the UA, the United Arabs, we have the BRICS, we have the EU, okay, the European Union. If countries are coming together to form this union, then who are you? Who are we to move alone? We need to ponder on these words. Okay, together we can. When we come together, then we will win together. But when we decide to go our separate ways, then we will perish as a fool. Thank you, madam.
Thank you, Mr. Johnny DeBank. I think Mr. Aki is in the house. Mr. Aki, welcome. We want to look at the themes of TACC. And if you can just do that very briefly in less than 2 minutes, if you can state the themes of TACC and explain them very briefly, please.
Thank you, Dr. Delia. The themes of TACC, the first theme of TACC was think big, followed by dream and become. The third theme of TACC was in one voice we win. That was followed by the year of abundance. And now we are in the fifth theme of TACC, which is limitless opportunity. And so each theme is related to the other one. They're all interrelated. Allow us to incorporate what we're about, who we are, and what we want to accomplish. So very briefly, that represents the 5 themes. And also the number 5 is the number of grace. And so thank you, Dr. Delia. God bless you.
That was very good, very brief and concise. Thank you so much, and well explained also. Thank you, Mr. Aki. Okay, Chief of Staff, the next question is for you. Very briefly, can you answer this question? How does TACC align with the current trends in the crypto market?
Okay. Well, just like any other cryptocurrencies, in the cryptocurrency space we have a cycle, and it takes every 4 years for this cycle to come and go. So the last cycle was in 2021, and the next cycle will be in 2025. So it's a period where virtually every cryptocurrency in the space goes up in value. So TACC was launched in that kind of a period in 2021, where for the first time Bitcoin went to as high as $69,000. Ethereum went to as high as $4,000, and other cryptocurrencies too made their all-time high. So cryptocurrencies have, in as much as they are different in their ideologies, they are different in their mission and vision, there is also a meeting point. There's a meeting point in the sense that there's a season where people make a lot of money in the space, and the TACC would not be an exception to that. We belong to the cryptocurrency community, and the trend next year is that the crypto has gone mainstream, and there's no more stigmatization from government or any other entities that cryptocurrency is a scam, is used for nefarious activities. No, people have come to understand that crypto has come to stay, and it has come to stay forever. So just like any other crypto, the next year is the year of crypto, and this should make Tiasians to prepare to prepare, and they should prepare for TACC. This is the next year is going to be fire for crypto. So, and TACC is also a cryptocurrency, and it's also fit that trajectory. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief of Staff. Mr. Johnny DeBank, tell us about the slogan of TACC. Can you state that and very briefly explain it?
Okay, yes. The slogan says one child, one TACC, one TACC, one youth. And this emphasizes empowerment and opportunity for every young individual through the abundance community coin. Okay, so the slogan also signifies our commitment to ensuring that every child has access to TACC, okay, the abundance community coin. And so this is to equip them with the tools to secure their financial future from an early age. Okay, and so for the youth also, this represents growth and independence. Okay, so as TACC becomes not just a resource, but a symbol of stability and economic freedom. This slogan also embodies the idea that no one is actually left behind. Okay, and so this is to foster inclusion, financial education, and a generational shift towards abundance and self-reliance. Okay, so the slogan which says one child, one TACC, one youth is more than a phrase. Okay, is more than a phrase, and it is a vision for sustainable empowerment. And so there goes the slogan of TACC: one child, one TACC, one TACC, one youth. Thank you, madam.
Well explained. Very good. Thank you, Mr. Johnny DeBank. Mr. Francis, TACC also has a few social programs. Can you briefly tell us about them?
I think I've relaxed for a long. Thank you for bringing me back. Yes, TACC has three main social programs, which we can find now in our white paper. The first one is Africa Rollback Malaria. Malaria is a kind of disease that dogs, you may not have it in your country there, and
No,
some other country. But in Africa here, we have this disease killing a lot of people. According to the World Health Organization, over 90% of death that witnessed or seen across the globe, especially in some part of the world, is as a result of malaria. And in 2019, let me quote this figure. World Health Organization mentioned that 229 million cases of malaria was identified, and in that same year, 409,000 deaths occurred. So, and that same organization mentioned that 93% of these cases are found or happen in Africa. So, and we realize that the vulnerable group that experience this kind of death and malaria cases is children under 5 years. These are the group that experience this kind of thing. And Doc, in Africa, the poverty level is something that we are battling with, and the immune system of these children are not strong. When I talk about immune system, let me take you down science a little. Our blood is made up of two main components. We have the plasma and the cells. Now, the white blood cell is responsible for producing antibodies to fight diseases, and the red blood cell contain the hemoglobin, which is responsible for the transport of oxygen to the cells for cellular respiration. So when this pathogen, which is Plasmodium parasite, introduced into the body of these children, the target is to attack the immune system, making it difficult for the blood to produce antibodies to fight these diseases. And also, when the HB is down, it affects what? The oxygen transport, leading to what? The inability of the cells to produce energy for the body. So in this case, so malaria is very important. Malaria cases, rollback malaria cases, as I said, is very important when it comes to solving problems of Africa. So TACC focuses so much on this, and I pray and hope that one day we are able to achieve this by helping other organizations to ensure that this is eradicated completely on our continent. The second social program is Afro-Caribbean International Music, Culture and Trade Festival. Doc, this is your area. I heard you with that melodious voice. I describe this social program as 3 in 1: music, culture, and then trade. So we talk about the music aspect. Talents are now being brought together. People who can sing, display all kinds of talent when it comes to music, all kinds of music. We also talk about the culture. Culture in my basic education refers to way of life. Talks about the food we eat, talks about what the dresses. So when we come together, the African, the Caribbean, we come together, we exhibit this kind of beautiful cultures. We exhibit this kind of I think I would want to eat what is the kind of food that is prepared in St. Lucia. That would be a very nice thing. So start bring that kind of cohesion so that we have that interpersonal relation, how to relate with each other, understand each other's culture. Then we look at the trade aspect of it, which is the economic aspect of it. So with this, it's a kind of collaboration that brings about the avenue for us to boost our economic aspect of life and financial growth. So, and briefly, so go to the last one, which is Afro Caribbean Cup of Nation. You know, football, we know what football does to our life. People spend so much money, go to stadium to watch football. They spend so much time to train and exhibit this talent. So it's also another opportunity for TACC to bring different, countries together with this kind of footballers who will come together and also show us what they have and what we can benefit from them. With that, our base expansion is also an opportunity when we try to bring this, and we'll be able to get a lot of people in TACC. Thank you very much, Director.
Wow, such valuable information. Thank you, Mr. Francis. Okay, we have about 2 more questions. Mr. Carr, so we have been hearing about staking. You even spoke about it in some of the questions that you answered. Can you tell the House or TACC family what staking is? Briefly explain it, and what incentives are in place for stakers of TACC?
Yes, thank you, Director, for that question. Staking, as would have come out in the previous conversation, is where you're putting up something to help to validate the network, to help to add the next blocks to the blockchain. So whether is it that you're staking your computational power, you're staking the amount of coins you have, or you're staking reputation, you are putting something up as a means to gain the right to validate transactions and to add the next block to the blockchain. So that's staking. Um, in terms of benefits to Tiashans, I will consider three. The first, you by staking, you help to secure the blockchain. You help to secure our blockchain. And so by putting yourself up, becoming a validated, authorized validator, you help to become another um, link in that chain to provide security for the TACC blockchain. So that's one incentive. The second I will consider is scalability. Now, the more persons that avail themselves to be validators is the more scalable the TACC blockchain will be. As we continue to expand, the more validators we have, it is the more scalable, the more robust, the more efficient our blockchain will run and our transactions will flow. So that's the second incentive. And of course, the third is it's a means for us to all earn passive income. Now, every time you validate a transaction, add a block to the blockchain, you would get rewarded in the form of coins. And of course, this will be mechanized based on the value of TAC at the time. And I know when we were on Byrick, for example, we started out at about 5 TAC per transaction, and it went down to 4 to 3 to 2. So depending on how the movement of the price of TAC. Of course, those of us who would have interacted with Bitcoin know that you understand, as the price of Bitcoin goes up, the amount of coins you get decreases. And so it's a form of passive income. As you validate transactions, you will earn coins, which we all know is money. So those are the 3 areas I will consider as incentives for us all to become validators and to stake our reputations to help to advance our blockchain. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carr. Okay, Mr. Francis, this question is for you. So we have purchased TACC coins. Can you briefly tell us and explain the steps involved from us purchasing or acquiring TACC to cashing out?
Yeah, thank you very much, Director, once again. Yes, you mentioned you have purchased TAC, and the new one who will come at this time to want to purchase it, the first thing has to be considered is the exchange. Just as you have your fiat currency, you want to have an account, you need to identify the kind of bank you want to open your account. So in this case too, you need to know which exchange you are going to have your assets. And so as a Tiashan, we already know the exchange we have, which is about to launch. So the next thing is to create your account, and then you fund it with the necessary fund to be able to purchase TAC. And as we are doing now, some are buying offline, can buy from the exchange when the person is having the Bitcoin. Previously, that was what was happening. Then the next thing is to show you. Can you hear me? I think my network will drop again. I hope you can hear me.
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yes. Is Is it okay now?
Yes, you go
Doc,
ahead,
is it okay
Mr.
now?
Francis. Go ahead.
Yes.
Yes.
So you show your identity to the exchange by doing your KYC. So when you do your KYC and it is approved, then you have all the qualification to be able to trade on the exchange. Now, coming back to selling your coin, there are ways you can swap, you can do your P2P and put your coin on the exchange for sale. These are the means by which you sell your coin. So briefly, you create your account, you do your KYC, and when the KYC is approved, then you can do your transaction and do your withdrawal. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Francis. Okay, so these are the questions. Mr. Aki will give you the last word. Do you have any final words or thoughts for the TAC family based on our discussion today? Is Mr. Aki around? Okay.
He's there. I'm not sure if he's hearing you. He's there.
Mm.
Sorry.
You there, Mr. Aki?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Do you have any last words, brief thoughts for the TAC family as we come to the end of this discussion?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Delia.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Brother Carr, Mr. Executive. Um, the last words I would like to share with the Global House of Passions is that it is vitally important that we incorporate the mission, the vision, the themes, the slogan, the mission um, into our minds, hearts, souls, and our spirits so that when we wake up in the morning, it's in us. When we go to bed in the noonday, it's in us. And when we speak, um, we are speaking our mission, our vision, our themes, our slogans, um, everything surrounding what we're doing to create global financial stability for all peoples who've been handed generational lack, scarcity, poverty, and man-made diseases by design. This is divine, Cassius. And in order for us to be meaningful specifics, we need to know this. We need to have it in our spirits, all aspects of what we're doing as far as the mission and the vision. And as I mentioned, the slogan, the themes, and all the other, the philosophy, of course, together we can. So let's get this in our spirit and let it become a part of us each and every day. And when that happens, we're going to see us reach our wildest imaginations as far as financial liberty and freedom and changing the world for the better, which is what we're about. And shout out to our CEO and our chief of staff and just everyone who's working diligently to operate in what we say we are about. So thank you, Dr. Delia, and God bless each and every one of you. Love you. Peace.
Thank,
Assalamu
thank,
alaikum. Shalom. Thank you.
thank you, Mr. Aki. Panelists, I really want to say a great thank you to each of you. When I reached out to you and I asked you to be on this panel, none of you hesitated. You all said you would be so willing to do this, and you have just been awesome. So knowledgeable about every question that I have put to you. So thank you, thank you, thank you for imparting valuable information to this community. So we have a very brief time for questions, and then our CEO is in the house, and so we will open the floor to him. But does anybody have any questions for the panelists? Well, that's good.
Is it specific
Hello.
questions or any questions at all?
Yeah, please. Good evening.
Hold on, Mr.
Kennedy.
Stanley. Hold on,
Okay.
Mr. Sanj. Hold on. Mrs.
All right.
Sandra was speaking, so let's give her the floor, please. So any questions for the panelists? Anybody has any questions for the panelists? Yes. Anybody? Yes,
Yes,
Mrs. Sand.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Mr. Stanley.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Delia. And thank you all of you are very brilliant and professional in handling all the questions thrown to you. Even though I didn't join from the beginning because of what I was doing, but at least from the time I joined, I was able to catch up. Some people asked me to find out whether from the last person that talked about this thing, KYC, whether in the new blockchain going to be launched, a fresh KYC will be done after creating accounts. Will there be a fresh KYC aside from the one that has been done before? Thank you very much.
Any of the panelists want to answer that?
Yes, Director. If I heard him right, is asking if there will be another KYC done after the launch of the exchange platform, apart from the one that has been done already. Is that your question, please?
Yes,
Yeah, I believe.
by an individual, not for those who have not done before, but for those who have already done their KYC before. Do they need to do again? Thank you very
No,
much.
there will not be any other KYC to be done. Those who are joining the TACC community, creating their accounts on the exchange afresh, they are the people who are supposed to do their KYC. So you who have already done your KYC, your identity is already in the system, so you don't need to do any other KYC. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Francis.
Director, if I might add though for some director,
Go
if
ahead,
I might
Mr.
add,
Carr.
if I might add for some clarity though, this is if you have already done your KYC on the TAC exchange, because he didn't differentiate whether or not these were KYCs that were done while we were on BIRIC. Because if you did KYC on BIRIC and you then now you never did it on the TAC exchange, every person will have to do KYC on the TAC exchange. So that's for clarity. If you've
Thank you.
already done it on the TAC exchange, then you don't need to do it again.
Thank you very much for that addition. Well
Thank
explained.
you. Thank you so much. Any other question? Yes, Mrs. Sandra.
Yes, I have a quick question. What if you were
Mrs. Sandra, your network is bad. We're not understanding what you're saying, unfortunately.
that?
Yeah, we're not understanding, Mrs. Sandra. I think you have problems with your network.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Okay, I was saying, if you have now you have a different ID and different address. How does that work? Because the first time KYC was done, it was done with a different ID and a different address. So how does the address change? Because it's not identifying with my old address and the new one.
Okay, so from what you're saying is that when you initially did KYC, you must have been living elsewhere. And so you
Yes.
must have used the ID from the country that you were in at the time.
Yes, that's correct.
And so what happens now? Was that KYC not approved at that time?
No, because it's saying the address is not
Okay.
it does not
So,
identify with the address.
okay, so I think I'm understanding you. So when you originally registered for TAC, you were living in a different country. And
Yes,
so
I was living.
now that you are doing your KYC, you are in another country and that ID from that other country does not match your original address. That's what
Correct.
you're saying. Okay, well,
Right.
that's a deep one. Who can answer that? I have no idea.
Well, let me clarify real quick. The Virgin Islands is a U.S. territory. So I was living in a U.S. territory, and now I'm back here. So the addresses doesn't match.
Okay, so anybody on the panel can answer that? Mismatch of addresses because of movement, because she has moved from one country to the next. Maybe that will be one for you, Chief. Is Chief in the house? No? Chief of Staff, do you
All
have
right.
any?
Um. So she said she has changed address and she has moved to another country, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So in the new country she is now, um, what kind of proof, what kind of identity is she using for the KYC over there?
So she's using her ID, but what she's saying is that when she registered for TACC,
Mhm.
she has another address because she was living in another country when she registered. But
Mhm.
now she's living in a new country. The ID does not match the address that she used to register because she was in another country at the time.
When she said register, what does she mean? Signing up on tax exchange, as in signing up to become a tax member?
No, no, no.
Yes.
No KYC. The KYC. I had originally did my KYC when I lived in the Virgin Islands. So now I'm here in the U.S., the mainland, and but it would not allow me to to use that ID that I have. You know, it's
Are you a
saying
new
that the
member?
address.
You
No,
said,
no, no.
sorry, you
I've
did your
been with
KYC on the,
TAC. I'm not a new member. I've been with TAC for a long time, since the beginning, before they even hit the first launch. I've been there from the
okay, all right then.
beginning.
Then 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 use the information that you have now. It doesn't matter since you have moved to a new location. Use the information that you have now and do your KYC. Okay?
It's not taking it. I've been trying to use it for
It-
a while now. It's not
It's not
taking it.
what? It's not picking. What response do you get in return?
The response is an address issue. The address is not
That,
identifying with the address.
come again, sorry.
The address is not correct. They're saying.
The address is not correct.
Mhm.
Chief of Staff, if I might
Yeah.
assist,
Okay, please
I
go.
believe the issue she's facing is not necessarily because she was living somewhere else and now she's living in a new location, but
Mhm.
the ID, the address that's on the ID, and
Yes,
the section when you're filling out the KYC currently now, you have to type out your address.
I
So
have.
usually the issue is what you type out in that window that's provided must match exactly what's on your ID. That's
Mhm.
usually where there's an issue with that. It's not that it's looking for the information from when you would have KYC'd in the past on Byrick. Because Byrick is gone. That's a different exchange.
Exactly.
So you're only now KYCing on the. And
Well,
so the
I have.
information you going to look at is what is it that you're putting into that that it matches exactly. Thank you.
I I I have put it in exactly as it is. My husband has tried it. I have tried it, and it's still coming back with an error. So I'm not. So I was. That's why I was wondering if that was the issue, because I've changed addresses. However, I'm not sure why it's not taking my KYC.
No,
So,
anything to do with Byrick on your previous KYC, on Byrick, the KYC you did in the past, that's the the Byrek exchange. So there isn't any data that's going to affect your new attempt to KYC with the TACC exchange. So use your current ID as Chief of Staff has suggested. Use the current ID and the current address that you have. Once the information matches exact, you should be able to successfully complete your KYC. If the ID you're trying isn't working, perhaps you could see if you have another that you could try. But you're using the
No,
current address for where you are
okay.
now.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay. Thank you so
Can I
much, Mr.
here?
Carr. Thank you, Mrs. Sandra. We
My
need to come to
interjection
a close. Yes, Mr. Brown, your last question before we open the floor to
Yeah, it's not
Chief
a question. I'm
Abundance.
just trying to interject something for the lady who's trying to do her KYC.
Yes,
Maybe it's
Mr.
the same
Brown.
problem I had when I was doing mine. When up top where it asks you for all of these information, and I couldn't get through with my address. It keep denying me. So I use my driver's license in both sections. So the part that it asks for voters ID, I use my driver's license and just check voters ID. And on the second part where it asks you for the other information, I still use my driver's license and everything went through. So maybe this person could be having the same problem. I don't know if this is what she's having, and it worked.
Okay.
Okay,
Well,
thank
yeah,
you.
I will try that because I will try it because I used my driver's
Okay.
license for one section and the passport for the other. Okay, I will
Yes,
try. Thank you
you
so
use
much.
your driver's license for both sections. Just up top where they ask you for voters ID, use your driver's license. And on the section part where they ask you for the address, use your driver's license. And that's what
Okay.
I use and everything went through, okay?
And
I
make sure
appreciate
that
it. Thank you so
cropping
much.
appropriately.
Okay, thank
Make sure
you.
your cropping
So
gets y'all
let's
stuff.
okay. So let's close up the
Good afternoon.
questions. Hello. We are hello. That's it for
Hi.
questions. That's it for questions. We are now bringing on our esteemed Chief Abundance to address the House. Chief, we appreciate you. The floor is yours. Is Chief still in the house?
Yes, he is. Well, at least he's still there. Yes.
Okay, I see him. Um, Chief?
Well, while the chief is on his way, I just want to say briefly, Dr. Dale, if I could,
Okay.
make sure they're cropping appropriately. Crop.
Okay.
I'm sorry. If I said that correctly, yeah.
Sometimes maybe
Sometimes
where
that
it
can
is,
be
maybe
an
there should be
issue
network issue.
also.
I'm not sure. Where is so I think it should be network issue.
It's a network issue. Okay. Somebody had a question to ask, and then we will wrap up.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes, Prince Goodluck, is it?
Yes.
think
So I
there's
want to ask
something.
a question.
Question.
Is
Patrick,
TAC
look,
Go ahead, Prince Goodluck.
a decentralized exchange or a centralized exchange? Or are they going to list on the so
Cryptocurrency is decentralized. So I'm not sure that's a question you want to ask.
Mr. Woodlock, our exchange is centralized in the sense that it can interface between crypto and fiat. Okay, that is what it means by centralized exchange, and the private keys are not held. When you lost your password in a centralized exchange, it can easily be recovered for you. But on the decentralized exchange, if you lost your password, that is it forever. So that could use such wallets too. We'll have both the centralized and also have the centralized platform. And we also have the decentralized platform. Okay, all those work are in progress. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief of Staff. Okay, it's 2:37.
Yes, success. I'm not sure if she had a question.
Barbara Jarvis is raising her hand.
Let's go down. Hmm. Go ahead,
Hello.
Jarvis. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, dear. Okay, great. I signed up around 15 persons back in 2021. And some of us, we did the KYC, we went through the whole process, but about 5 of them, because they're older people than I am, and they can't
Mm-hmm.
remember their email address that was used back then and their password. So seeing that it's now closed, so that there's no sort of activity going on, what will happen to these 5 persons that can't get on, can't remember the email that was sent? I asked my top line person down here in Antigua to see if she can assist them, but I said, let me just ask the forum because I really don't want them to lose out. What sort of help can be assisted to them?
Well, there is a support group for that will open after the launch of the exchange. So I would advise that they go on that support group and ask that question and get the support that they need.
Okay, great. Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, I think we can wrap up. I'll give one more shout out to Chief Abundance to see if he can come on. Chief, are you there? Are you able to come on? Okay, well, I think we can wrap up. We have done quite a lot today. It has been an amazing session. Chief of Staff, do you have any last words for us to close us up?
Oh, sure. All right. I'd like to thank you, Dr. Delia, for bringing this initiative, for having the panel discussion. You know, the last conference I attended in Lagos, it was a panel like this. A lot of people, we need to start understanding that the future, this is how the future will look like. Having interactions online will become the new normal. You mustn't meet somebody face to face for you to get things done. The world is going digital, and especially we people of color, we must change alongside with it. We must also understand the times that we are in. It's an exciting time, and it's also a very critical time where there is a dramatic change that is taking place. So if Nikki Veg said, she said, disrupt yourself or you'll be disrupted. In the sense that do not be afraid of technology. Do not think that this thing is something that is fleeting. No. As a matter of fact, the same way we are paying rent in our various houses now, a few years to come, we'll be paying digital rent. It will happen. For you to, I so much believe for in the future, the way we are going, we'll be paying for things online. Like for you to have a space online, you must pay. And recently, the email have started charging for a space for you to save your thing. They started charging such amount of money. So we must start positioning ourselves online. Online is the new world. Is the new world. Is where the world is going. We can't afford to be left behind. And this is a season where we must also educate our people, especially those people that we brought into TACC. We must make them accountable and responsible. If they want to come, and I like what Chief is doing now, you can no longer come and say you want to change password for another person. It is a lie. That person must come by themselves. They must come by themselves, or an admin has to stand in for them. So we must be responsible and we must be serious. This is in as much as we try to blame other people for our woes, for our conditions. We are the ones that is stopping ourselves. We are the ones that take things for granted. When you see the Caucasians planning, you know, these guys fascinate you. They take their survival very seriously, and that is not a bad thing. We must start thinking towards that direction. We are the only people that think less of ourselves. That mindset must change. This is a new dimension entirely, and we must understand that the future depends on what we do now. The future is not bright because somebody will create it for us and wait for us to go and enter. We are the ones to create the future now. What we do now, what we do on this training, we echo down into eternity. We are the ones building the future, and we must take it very, very seriously. Thank you very much once again as that continues to go up to you. Peace.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief of Staff. Tiashans, thank you so much for coming to this training. You can unmute now and say hello and goodbye.
Put your money in tack, put your money in tack, invest and show that your money come back. Put your money in tack, put your money in tack, invest and show that your money come back. Everybody say, one child, one youth, one tack, one child, one youth, one tack, 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 tack. Become financially free, join the abundance community, diaspora city. Yeah, we got global accessibility, your future, your currency. Everybody say, one child, one youth, one tack, one child, one youth, one tack, 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 tack. Become financially free. Join the Abundance Community Diaspora City. Contact our website or social media for more info. Everybody say, one child, one youth, one tack, one child, one youth, one tack.